everyone, my name's Michelle and this is my channel Sewing Bunny, and today's video is my special 1-year anniversary video, and I thought I would do a Q&A. So if you saw my last video, which was my October makes video, then I did say in that I was after some Q&A questions. So thank you so much for everybody that's asked me a question. I've had quite a few, so it's been really good reading through them. So I can't wait to go through some with you. So before I start, I am wearing today my Tilly the Buttons Agnes top in this lovely bunny fabric. I love this t-shirt. As you've probably seen, I do wear it quite a lot. I've also got my trusty cup of tea because I know I'll need that. And yeah, so let's start off with some of the questions. And also I just kind of wanted to say just beforehand, you know, I've been doing this a year now, and I just have to say thank you everybody for everybody's support, everybody's likes, subscribes, watches, comments. It's just amazing. I can't tell you like how proud I am for doing this channel kind of for a whole year. I've actually stuck with it all that time, and I would not have been able to do it without the support from you guys. So thank you so much, everybody. Okay, on to the questions. Okay, so I'm not reading out these questions in any particular order. I'm just literally reading them out as I see them. So the first one comes from Noelia. I hope I've pronounced your name right. And she asks, what do you do as a day job? What made you get into sewing? And how did you decide to start a YouTube channel? So first off, my day job, I haven't actually mentioned what I do. I've kind of referred to the office a couple of times, but I work for a company where they deal with kind of food service equipment. So imagine, you know, kind of going into a supermarket, you might see kind of the bakery section. We maintain that kind of equipment. And also if you go into, say, a gym, and you see a drinks vending machine, then that might be a machine that we maintain for that as well. And I am an account manager for one of the big brands. So I look after a large sports drinks customer. You've probably all heard of them. And I look after them and make sure that all their equipment is, you know, being looked after, that we install equipment correctly, we move about equipment correctly, do certain projects and things for them. So I just make sure that my customer is happy. That is my job. So yeah, so it is a lot of kind of, you know, meetings and, you know, kind of lots of project planning. And I have my own lovely little team as well, my support team, where they do obviously a lot of the admin work and things. So yeah, it's a really lovely place to work, and yeah, it certainly keeps me on my toes. It's very, very busy. But yeah, that's literally what I do for my day job. So the next question that she had was, what made you get into sewing? And this is, I think, just because I was fed up of the high street. I just couldn't find what I wanted. It was, I'd go into a shop and I'd go, oh, I love that, but I wish it was in this colour. Or I love this, but why couldn't they make this longer? Or why couldn't they make this shorter? Why does it fit me here but not here? And I mean, we've all probably had it, you know, where, you know, you go into a shop, you love something, pick it up, try it on, and you just go, ugh, what is that? That is just not what I was expecting at all. And I was just getting that more and more and more. I'm kind of like, you know, I'm not ridiculously tall. I'm 5'8", but every skirt I tried on was too short. Every t-shirt I tried on was too short. I was kind of thinking, I need a new hobby, so I'm going to start sewing. And yeah, haven't looked back since. And then the last bit that she said was, how did I decide to start a YouTube channel? Well, basically, I love sewing vloggers. I discovered them when I was kind of watching some tutorials and things, and then I was just coming across them every now and again, and I just absolutely loved their outlook on things, and the fact that, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love tutorials and things, but I just loved seeing like a bit of an insight to someone's sewing like journey, just, you know, kind of saying, you know, like, I want to make this, and actually producing it and saying what changes they've done and things like that. And it was just lovely to get an insight for someone's personal kind of sewing journey. As I say, it was lovely. And I really wanted to do the same, and I put it off for ages. I was going, no, I can't do it yet. I'm not experienced enough. I can't do it yet. I don't have the right equipment. And basically one day I went, no, I'm going to record on my phone, I'm going to do it. I don't care if I don't have the experience that others have. People may actually want to join me, kind of seeing how I progress and things. And I loved it, and I haven't looked back since. I absolutely love vlogging, and I hope to be vlogging for another year if I can. And yeah, I've just absolutely loved every single moment of it. Okay, and then the next question comes from Sam from Frugalissima, and she has her own YouTube channel as well, so make sure you go and check her out. And she asks, tell us about your sewing journey, why you started, when, where, who taught you. And also I do have another question from Annette, which is a little bit similar as to, I was wondering where you get your sewing gene from. So that kind of goes into that as well. So yeah, my little sewing story is I got a sewing machine for my birthday in 2017, so it was June 2017. I asked my mum and dad for some money to put towards a sewing machine, and I bought my first ever sewing machine, which is still my current machine. And I just kind of thought, yeah, I'm going to give this a go. As I said, I was looking for a new hobby, and I just wanted to give it a go. And I don't know anyone really that sews, and my mum didn't really sew, my nan and my gran, they didn't really sew, so I don't really have any sewing genes as such. However, you know, my mum used to do all the repairs, all the hemming, all the putting the buttons on, all of that. You know, she does kind of shorten some of her dresses and things like that as well, so she does do a little bit of it. But yeah, I think she avoids a machine at all costs. She'd much rather do hand sewing than go anywhere near a machine. I hope you don't mind me saying that, Mum. And yeah, so I'm all self-taught, and I just did it all through YouTube. I just did all the like tutorials and things. If I didn't know how something worked, I would Google it or I'd YouTube it. And oh my goodness, so much trial and error, a ridiculous amount of trial and error. So yeah, that was basically how I started. And yeah, and also Sam did ask another question, which was how did you meet your partner, and what does he think of your sewing? So I met Stuart actually through online dating. I just kind of thought, give it a go. I'd been single for kind of just under a year, and I thought, I'm just going to give it a go. And I logged on, and yeah, I did get some weird messages and things like that, and I was a bit like, what's going on here? But once that was kind of like, yeah, ignore that person. I just had a look through some of the profiles, kind of, you know, in certain areas to me. And I saw Stuart's profile, and I thought, oh, he seems like a really nice guy, and messaged him. We got chatting. We decided to meet up in a pub, quite local, and yeah, we just hit it off straight away. And I do believe that things happen for a reason, because he was the first person I actually met via online dating. And yeah, the rest is history. We're getting married next year. And yeah, we've been together just over 8 years now. So yeah, that's lovely. It's my little fairy tale. And what does he think of my sewing? So he's so supportive. He knows how much joy it brings me. If I'm ever feeling a bit down or a bit sad or something, he's like, why don't you go and do a bit of sewing? You know, he jokes around with me a lot. Every time a parcel comes through the door, anything, he'll go, more fabric. You know, even if it's like plastered with like Amazon written on it, it's like, more fabric. Yeah, but he loves the fact that I sew. He knows how much joy it brings me. The only thing he doesn't like is my overlocker, because it makes a lot of noise. So I sew upstairs. He's directly underneath me, like in the downstairs living room, and watching telly or watching football, and quite often I'll get the shut the door, it's really loud. So yeah, he loves my sewing, apart from the overlocker. Next question comes from Kath from Made by Kath Craft. She has her own YouTube channel as well, so go check her out. And she has said, what pattern have you sewn up the most, and also what other hobbies do I have? So the pattern that I've sewn the most has to be the Sew Over It Molly top. I think I've counted that I've sewn that pattern up about 13 or 14 times. Now, 4 of those I think were for my mum, and 2 of those were the dress version. But I love that pattern. I got that pattern quite early on from my sewing, and I've just fallen in love with it because it is just such a simple t-shirt. It comes up really quickly, sews up so quickly, and I love the way it fits. And yeah, you can make it out of viscose jersey, cotton spandex jersey. You can do the dress in like a ponte or a French terry, sweatshirting, things like that. So I absolutely love that pattern, and yeah, I'm gonna certainly make more of those because yeah, I love it. And then the other hobbies that I have, so I've mentioned that I like to do cross stitch, so I do cross stitch cards and things like that. I also do dabble a little bit in knitting, only basic stuff. I mean, I can't knit, you know, kind of cardigans and things like that. I have made myself one jumper, but that was not great. But scarves, blankets, things like that, then I've given that a go. And then other things that I like to do is, well, before lockdown, I used to go out to like pubs and used to do some karaoke with a little group of my friends. We used to kind of go around to a couple of pubs and do karaoke kind of on a Friday night. But of course, because of lockdown, haven't been able to do that for a while. Now, I'm a really shy person, so getting up and doing karaoke, it was only through a couple of my friends pushing me to do it where I finally did it. And I have to admit, it's done wonders for my confidence. I have to stand up and kind of talk a lot, like for work and things, and just standing up and singing in front of people just kind of gets you used to standing up in front of people and talking, which is a lot easier. So yeah, I love doing karaoke. I mean, I'm by no means brilliant at it, but you know, if you want a slow, depressing love song, then I'm your girl. And then other things, well, I did used to like doing quite a bit of drawing and painting. I do really need to get back into that. I used to really enjoy kind of drawing and painting like fairies and flowers and things like that, and I haven't done that for ages, so I would really like to get back into doing that at some point. And also before the whole lockdown thing, I used to go to the gym and do a little bit of pole fitness. So yeah, that was really fun. That kind of is a lot of hard work. You don't think you actually realise how much hard work goes into some of those moves and things, but it was just really fun. It was kind of quite kind of it kind of almost like kind of circusy type things, you know. I mean, I wasn't doing the, you know, kind of sexy, no, that's absolutely not me. But yeah, just the fitness side of it, it's just, yeah, it gave me a lot of confidence actually to trust myself. And you know, it actually brought me a lot closer to a lot of people as well, because you have to get people to spot you when you're kind of doing moves, you know, so you don't land flat on your face and things. So yeah, I made lots of friends doing that. So yeah, that was just some of my other hobbies. The next question is from Brenda, and she asks, what is your favourite meal to prepare or recipe? Now, I love a Sunday roast. That's probably my favourite meal to do. I mainly obviously just do it for myself and Stuart, so it's just a roast for 2, but I really enjoy it, and I like the fact that Stuart enjoys it as well. And I like when I make like food and things, it's really nice just having others enjoy it. And yeah, he loves a roast, and occasionally he'll take a picture of the roast that I've made and send it on to his friends and go, look what Michelle's made, I've got a nice roast dinner, have you got a nice roast dinner? So that's really nice. So yeah, I love a roast. I have actually recently just kind of, I think now, mastered crackling on pork. So yeah, so I think, yeah, I can do most roasts, I think, now. So yeah, and they're normally rather big portions as well. I love like loads of roast potatoes and things as well, so absolutely love that. And then probably my favourite recipe, I mean, it's a very basic one, but my favourite dinner is like macaroni and cheese. I absolutely love it. And my mum used to make a tuna pasta bake, which was basically like a macaroni cheese kind of with tuna in it. And yeah, I learned to make that kind of when I was younger, and I've just kind of adapted it a little bit as I've gone along. And yeah, I have that quite a lot now. I absolutely love it. And I find with my macaroni and cheese, I always put a little bit of mustard in and a tiny little pinch of nutmeg as well. Oh, lovely. So nice. I could probably live off macaroni and cheese. Absolutely love it. So yeah, I hope that answered your question, Brenda. Next question comes from Naomi, and she says, even though your wedding plans have been postponed, what colours had you selected for bridesmaids and decor? Did you sew anything for the event? So in case you don't know, I was actually meant to get married in June this year, but due to the world, I've had to postpone that, and so we are now, fingers crossed, getting married in May 2021. So yeah, my colours that I have selected are navy and orange because orange is actually my favourite colour, and it is also Stuart's favourite colour. So we thought we had to put orange in there somewhere, because, you know, it'll always be a case of, you know, like if you buy something, you know, like a kitchen utensil or something like that, you're like, oh, let's go for the orange one, you know. So yeah, we both love orange, but we didn't want to go OTT on the orange, so we kind of thought that navy would look really nice with that as well. And the bridesmaid dresses, they're going to be kind of orange, but with kind of like cream and pink kind of flowers on there. They're kind of like maxi dresses that I've selected for them. So yeah, navy and orange is the colour theme. And things, have I sewed anything? Basically no. There was absolutely no way I was going to make my wedding dress. So many people have asked me when I've kind of said, you know, I was getting married, they're like, oh, you're making a wedding dress? I'm like, no, I do not need that stress. I'm leaving that up to the professionals to do because if I made it, it would probably fall apart. So you're not doing that. I didn't want the stress. At one point I was considering making the bridesmaids dresses, but again, I just didn't want the stress. My two lovely bridesmaids, they're different shapes and sizes to me, so I just didn't want to go there. I didn't need that sort of stress, so yeah, I bought their things. And all the decorations and things, again, I'm not hand making anything as of yet anyway, just because I don't want that extra stress. So yeah, not hand making anything. I know, it's really surprising, isn't it? But yeah, I hope that answered your question. Next question comes from Tamlin from Sewn on the Tyne. Again, she's got a YouTube channel, so make sure you check that out as well. I'm sure you've heard of her. And she asks, what is your dream garment that you'd love to sew? So I'm going to take this in kind of two ways as to if I could sew any garment in the world, what would it be, kind of thing. And I would love to make kind of dance outfits, you know, like the kind of dance outfits you see on like Strictly, with all like the sparkles and the flowing bits and the ruffles. And yeah, I would love, I think that would probably be one of my dream jobs, would be to be like a costume designer for Strictly, or a dance kind of costume designer. I love it. I love how when like people dance and the outfit kind of flows with it and it goes with it and it just becomes part of the dance. Absolutely love it. So yeah, if I could sew anything, it would be kind of like a Strictly kind of like wowzer kind of outfit. And then if I could sew anything for me, I would love to one day be able to sew myself a pair of jeans. It's the one thing that I'm terrified of making, and I know I should just do it. It's just literally a pair of trousers with some top stitching and some rivets and things. But yeah, it absolutely terrifies me. So I'm hoping maybe one day I can actually maybe sign up to a jeans making class, because maybe that will kind of give me the confidence to kind of do it, because yeah, I don't think I've got the confidence to do that by myself. But you never know. Next question comes from Whatever Katie Sews. So hello Katie, she has her own YouTube channel as well, so make sure you go and check her out. I love that loads of my sewing vlogging like chums have kind of asked me questions. It's lovely. And she has said, whereabouts in the UK are you, and do you go to local sewing stuff as well? So I am based in West Sussex, which is in the southeast of England. It's kind of in between kind of Gatwick Airport and Brighton. I'm kind of in that middle section there. And so Brighton is probably my nearest large town. And if I go to local sewing things, basically no, I don't. I've never gone to a sewing meetup. I've never gone to a sewing class, or any shows, craft fairs, things like that in regards to sewing. I'll be perfectly honest, I just haven't had the confidence to kind of go. I don't have other kind of sewing friends as such, kind of that would probably be interested in kind of like the home sewing kind of thing. So I haven't done it. And it's one thing that I need to do, and I really want to push myself to do. I want to go to some sewing meetups. I would love to maybe go to like something like the knitting and stitching show, like obviously when that kind of opens up. I would love to go to sewing classes, meet more kind of in-person sewing friends as well. And I just need to push myself to do it. I do suffer a little bit with low confidence, and so going to something on my own does kind of make me feel quite anxious. But yeah, I need to do it. I need to push myself out of the comfort zone and do it, because you know, I think having my YouTube channel has helped me massively. It's kind of the sewing community, it's opened up like how lovely the sewing community is, and I just need to kind of stop thinking that people are going to think that I'm kind of not good enough for this, or I don't know what I'm talking about, or you know, my thought is like, if I go to a sewing class that I've been sewing for like a few years and I'm not going to understand how to like thread their own like sewing machine, or I'm not going to understand how things go together, and you know, I'm going to be this person that doesn't know what they're doing. And yeah, I just need to give myself a kick up the bum and do it. Next question comes from Laura, who says, about a couple of makes that didn't work out so well. It makes me feel better to know others don't always get it right either. Oh, Laura, yes, I have had loads of sewing failures. At the beginning of my kind of learning to sew, oh my goodness, I had some disasters, like absolute disasters. I tried making woven tops out of jersey. I was making jersey things out of woven. I didn't understand how anything went. It took me ages to work out how to even do facings and understitching. Didn't even understand what I was doing. I mean, I made some proper, like, I couldn't salvage anything. It was like literally I sewed it up and I was like, straight in the bin. You can't do anything with it. I made a dress with my first ever zip. It was like a kind of a polyester crepe, kind of in a purpley peacock print, I think it is. And I put the zip in, and then I tried it on, literally just went like that, and the whole zip just fell out. I was like, okay, that's not good. And the fraying on it was ridiculous. I made a top. It was in a lovely material, like a black with some floral, kind of bright coloured floral things. It was just a very plain, simple top. And I went out for a meal and I wore it out. And then I got home and I realised the whole of this side had just literally come apart. Again, I don't know what I was doing. My tension in my machine must have just been completely off. And I was like, oh God, I hope nobody actually saw that I was literally had my side more or less just open. Yeah, more recent things. I mean, I think I went through my disaster about my first Luna tank from Helen's Closet in kind of like that flowy jersey. I did salvage it, and I did I didn't salvage the first one. I did make a second one which went okay, which was the green one. You may have seen my disaster of my named kilo jumpsuit, where I had completely the wrong fabric choice, where it was more or less see-through. That was bad. I made a Colette Asta top where I stretched out the neckband. Oh, that was awful. I made the Pattern Union Phoebe Flounce and Maxi combo, where the bias binding went completely wrong, and I had to just literally do my own bodge job on that. I mean, the list goes on. So don't worry, Laura, you are not alone. I have made plenty of errors, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to make plenty more in the future. But I do see it as a learning curve. So, you know, every time I get something wrong, even though it's really, really frustrating, it then like kind of teaches me something. So I hopefully won't make that mistake again. So yeah, don't worry, we've all been there. Okay, and then the next question comes from Finch. Sorry, I don't know if that's the way you pronounce the name. They've put, I'd love to, if you could let us know a bit more about your early makes that are still in your closet now, and what is your favourite make to date. So some of my early makes, probably, well, one of them definitely, there's an Ogden cami, which was my first ever Ogden cami, and it's in this kind of green, kind of like jungly type leaf print, and I love that. That was probably one of the first items that I made where I actually thought, ooh, actually this looks rather good, this looks a bit more like ready to wear. And I loved that, and I love the way it fits, and I do wear that a lot. That is probably one of my go-to kind of strappy tops for the summer, so I wear that loads. Absolutely love that. Some other early makes, my Cleo pinafore, my Tilly the Buttons Cleo. Again, I made that kind of that was actually probably nearer like the beginning of last year, I think I made that. And yeah, I've worn that loads, absolutely loads. Again, that one, it was kind of, it just looked really good and really professional. And yeah, that one again I put on, and don't think you ever know that it's handmade. So absolutely love that one. And then favourite make to date. Well, I'll be perfectly honest, it's normally whatever I've sewn up like recently. It's always whatever comes off my sewing machine is always, this is my favourite, and then the next one, no, now this is my favourite. But I would probably say most recently, I mean, my Juno pyjamas, my cat Juno pyjamas, I absolutely love those. I can't stop wearing those. If I could wear them outside, I would, but no, I'd look a bit weird if I did that. But I absolutely love that fabric. I love how comfortable they are. And even though, you know, people from the outside don't see them, I love them. And so yeah, they're probably my favourites probably so far. I do probably also have to say my Lander shorts as well, because that was my first ever sew along that I did, and I really love those. I was so surprised that they actually fit me, and yeah, I do kind of quite love those a little bit. Next question comes from Kaylee. How long have you been sewing for? What is your favourite thing about sewing? She says that hers is to be able to have all the fun prints that you can only find on kids' clothes in shops. I love a dinosaur print. I know, it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, I've got like the bunnies, I've got all like the cats, all the cute stuff. I have to agree with you there. I love being able to buy whatever print I want, and I don't care if it looks childish or anything. I love the fact that I have the freedom. I think that's what it is about sewing. It's the freedom of just picking whatever fabric you want. And I've kind of said this like before, I kind of tend to sew things and I don't necessarily worry too much if it suits me or not. It's kind of, if I love the fabric and I love the design of the pattern, then I don't care if it suits me, to be honest. I will just wear it and I love it. Because I mean, a lot of the time I do kind of wear kind of like novelty prints and things, and I know sometimes it might look a bit childish, but for anyone that knows me, any of my friends, if I wear like, say, a top like this with like these bunnies on, it will just be a case of, they'll go, oh Michelle, that top is just so you. And it's bringing out your personality like in your clothing. I love that feeling and that freedom. So that's probably my favourite thing about sewing, is the freedom of expression, basically. Also, I do have to say I love the learning. I am a little bit of a geek with things like that. I love learning things, and I just love having a hobby where I'm just constantly learning all the time. So yeah, that is what I probably love most about sewing. And then how long have I been sewing for? So I think I mentioned earlier, I got my first machine, still my current machine, which was in June 2017. So I've been sewing kind of, well, mainly from January 2018. I think I only sewed like one or two things when I first got my sewing machine, which was a skirt was my first ever, actually, yeah, that's the question in case anyone wants to know. My first ever garment that I made was a black jersey skirt, which I made using a YouTube tutorial, which was like kind of a 3/4 or a half circle skirt or something. Just made that pull on, and that was my first ever make, which got me into sewing. I made that, and then I did try to make some other t-shirts and things which went horribly wrong and couldn't wear and had to go in the bin. So but then in January 2018 was when I was kind of like, I'm going to try to take this a bit seriously. I'm going to actually try and really learn. So yeah. Okay, so next question. Two ladies actually asked me the same question. Tracy and Blossom said, what is the make you're most proud of? So the make that I'm most proud of, I think, actually, let me grab it. It's actually kind of two makes. I went to a friend's wedding back in 2019, July 2019, and I wanted to make a dress for the occasion. You may have seen this on my Instagram a couple of times because I have posted it up, which is this dress. And I mean, it's a very basic kind of dress here. I don't know the pattern number off the top of my head, but I will pop it in here. And it's basically the first dress that I made, which was lined, if you can see there. And it's got princess seams down the front. It's got a zip down the back with a waistband and yeah, kind of not a full skirt, but you know, reasonably kind of poofy skirt. And when I made this up, oh my goodness, it did not fit me at all. It was just huge. It was like this top bit was like literally down here. The sides, I just could, it was just ridiculous. And I spent so much time making it, and I was so like disappointed. And I didn't really know what I was doing, kind of with adjustments and things. And I honestly don't know. I can't even remember what I did to this dress to make it fit, but I've managed to do it so that it fits me bang on, and it hasn't interfered like with any of the lining or anything. It still looks really, really good. And yeah, at a point when I was starting to hate this dress, as soon as I got it to fit me perfectly, I was like, I love this dress. Apart from I done the top panel upside down, but we don't see that. That's just me being overly critical of myself. But yeah, I love how this fits, and I wore it to the wedding, and yeah, I got loads of people commenting on it saying how pretty it was. So yeah, I'm so proud of that. And also I did, to go with it, a little jacket. And again, with this one, grab it, I had fitting issues. It was huge, and so I had to adjust it. And again, it just turned out beautifully. And I've got this lovely lining on the inside, and it's from the same pattern, because you get the dress and the jacket as part of it. And I love this jacket, and I just think it looks really, really nice. It's very plain and simple, but I'm just so proud of how it looks. The only thing is yeah, so I put this jacket in my case, obviously, to go to the wedding. And then it turned out to be basically the hottest day of the year, I think, or at least one of the hottest days of the year. It was so incredibly hot, so I couldn't wear it. So I spent all that time making it, and I didn't even get around to wearing it. So yeah, I haven't actually worn this yet. I suppose I could actually wear it to work and things, but yeah, it's kind of one that probably sits better on it, like over a dress. But yeah, didn't actually get round to wearing that, so hopefully I will actually get some wear out of that soon, because yeah, I'm really proud that I made those two items and they didn't fit me at all, and I actually managed to get them to fit me. So that is probably what I would say is probably my proudest makes. Next question comes from Colette, and I love your question. She goes, have you sewn anything for your kitties? A cute cat bed or blanket for them to get cozy on? And she also says, anything for your hubby, joggers, sweatshirt. She goes, I know you've made PJs for your mum, anything else? So yeah, that's a lovely question. So for my cats, I mean, my cats are my little fur babies. I haven't actually sewn them anything, but I have knitted them a few things. They've got multiple blankets. I think there's like a little pinky purpley blanket. There was one that I made especially for when I got Bentley, which was kind of like a big puffy blanket. Then yeah, I've made loads of different sort of blankets and things for them. And in all fairness, they do actually sit on them. I was very worried that I was going to make them and then they just completely ignore them, but actually they do sit on them. So that does give me a lot of joy that they do actually use what I've made them. I would kind of like to make them a few more things, but yeah, so far they love my knitted blankets. And then for Stuart, my other half, I did make him a t-shirt for Christmas last year. That's actually the only thing that I have made for him. And I mean, he doesn't wear the t-shirt that often. I think it's probably because I've made it for him. He kind of thinks that, you know, it's kind of maybe a bit more fragile or something. I don't know, but he doesn't really wear it that much. But yeah, I'd like to make him some more things in the future, and then maybe he might wear those on a bit more regular basis, which would be really nice. And then for my mum, yep, I have made my mum a few things. Yes, those pyjamas, as you mentioned, Colette. So those hippo pyjamas. I've made her about 4 Molly tops, I think, so far. I also made her a Linden sweatshirt as well. And then we've also got Christmas this year, so she's going to get something me made for Christmas this year as well. Next question comes from Christina. She said, how do you make time to sew and how did you learn to sew? So I think I've already answered the how did I learn to sew. I'm all just self-taught via YouTube. And then how do I make time for sewing? Now, I don't have any kind of commitments kind of with, you know, like children or anything like that. So I do actually have a fair amount of free time for myself. Stuart, my other half, does work shifts quite a lot as well. So he'll quite often do one week where he's on an early shift and then the next week where he's then on a late shift. So in theory, there are quite a lot of times that I only really see him every other week. So there will be quite often just, I'll have a full week where I go to work, I come home and I've got the house to myself. So I will spend that time usually either in front of the TV with the cats or on my sewing machine. So that's kind of how I find the time. Also at the weekends as well, I do find that kind of with the way of the world and things the way it is, sewing has been an absolute release for me, and it has just kept my mind kind of completely off any of my other stresses that I have, and it's just kept me going. It's kind of, I go into my sewing room and I don't know what it is. It's like you know, like a Narnia thing. I literally go through the door and it's like I'm in a totally different world where I only have to worry about what am I making, what do I need to make, do I need to cut that pattern out, you know, what do I need to do, do I need to make sure I've got the right colour thread, or you know, things like that. And it puts me in a totally different like mindset, and I absolutely love it. It's an absolute joy to be in my sewing room. So yeah, that's what keeps me motivated, because I know if I'm feeling a bit down or a bit stressed, I'll go, I'm going to do a bit of sewing, and I know that I can switch off and just concentrate on sewing. So yeah, I make sure I have the time to do it. Next question comes from Anna from You Got Me in Stitches. So she's a fellow YouTuber as well, so make sure you check her out. And she's got a good question here. If you were asked to sew an unusual project as a surprise for either a friend, family member, colleague, animal, or even a famous person, what would it be, what fabric, and why? That one got me really thinking, Anna. I was thinking, going, unusual project. I have to say, I think it would have to be maybe some form of costume. And I've got a friend who holds probably the best Halloween parties in all of the area. And yeah, I would love to be able to sew some really funky, crazy Halloween costume for him, because yeah, he pulls out all the stops for his Halloween parties, and they're absolutely amazing. And I love costumes anyway. I love the parties that that he hosts. They're always dressed up and they're always a bit mad, and I would love to be able to maybe make him some proper crazy Halloween costume, because I think he'd absolutely love that if I had the skills to do it. I mean, I don't think I've got the skills to be able to do that, but it would be amazing if I could. I think that's probably my most unusual kind of project that I can think of at the moment. Okay, and the next question comes from Tracy. Hello, Tracy. And she's asked, what movies or Netflix series do I enjoy watching? So if I start off with maybe movies, my favourite movie of all time has to be Labyrinth. Absolutely love that film. Everything about it I love. I watched it when I was younger and just was completely enthralled with it. Absolutely loved it. Watched it so many times. Yes, I absolutely love that. Actually, a few years back, some of my friends got together and bought me a ticket for the Prince Charles Cinema up in London, where it's kind of like a bit of an interactive kind of viewing of the film. So they had, like, you know, someone dressed up from like the film and, you know, introducing it. You got to sing along with the songs, you got to like blow bubbles when they're doing the ballroom scene. Yeah, absolutely loved that. So that was really nice. I do also love Studio Ghibli movies. For anyone that's not familiar, they're a series of animated films and they are amazing. The artwork in them is just ridiculous. It's absolutely amazing, and a lot of them do have kind of like a bit of a story kind of behind them, you know, kind of like about, you know, respecting nature and things like that, and I absolutely love them. Absolutely love them, and I just think they're beautiful films. I also like kind of anything kind of a bit weird, really. I love like Tim Burton kind of films. I do also like, you know, your comedies and, you know, your like romances and things like that. You know, I'm kind of easy with all films. I don't like horror films. That's the only thing I don't like. Is I'm an absolute total wuss, and I hate anything that makes me jump or anything that's ridiculously gory. It's just not me. My other half absolutely loves kind of all of those sort of films, and yeah, so yeah, we're a bit different in that respect, but but yeah, I don't like anything too scary. And then Netflix series or just TV series in general, I love things like I've mentioned, like Strictly Come Dancing, love all of that. I love kind of detective things like Line of Duty, love that. RuPaul's Drag Race, I think, yeah, I mean, who doesn't love RuPaul? Absolutely love it, and yeah, I love watching all of those. And yeah, just any kind of like little bits and bobs like that. Oh, one thing I have been watching recently has been catching up on Cobra Kai. Absolutely love that. I love martial arts things. I used to love watching like loads of Jet Li films and Jackie Chan films. Absolutely love that. Love martial arts things. So yeah, that's the sort of stuff I enjoy watching. And the final question that I've got from you guys is from Jane, and she says, what sewing machine and overlocker do you have? So my sewing machine is a Brother LS14. It was my first ever sewing machine. It's my only sewing machine and I love it. I think I paid about £75 for it, I think. And I mean, it's a very basic machine. It doesn't have anything computerized on it. Everything's manual, you know, manual buttonholes, things like that. I don't know stitch lengths, things like that. I've literally got just either, you know, small stitch length or big stitch length. 3 different size zigzags, and yeah, and a 3-step kind of buttonhole manual thing as well. But it is an amazing machine. If you've seen any of my other videos and you've seen the stuff that I've sewn up with it, it's absolutely brilliant. It's a true workhorse. At some point it would be nice to be able to upgrade it, but yeah, I just don't know quite yet. I do absolutely love it, but yeah, maybe in the future it would be quite nice to upgrade. But yeah, so far it's keeping me going really, really well. And then my overlocker is, again, it's a Brother and it's the M343D. This is a very popular overlocker, from what I understand. I think a lot of people have this one, and again, it's just a workhorse. It's really, really good. Once I got my head around how to thread it up, I can now thread it up in seconds. It doesn't take me like much time at all. And I can get it right every single time, and I don't often have issues with it. Again, it's a workhorse. So those are my two machines. Okay, so that was all the questions from you guys. So thank you so much for everyone who asked me a question. Absolutely lovely. Really enjoyed going through those. I did actually just think I will just answer a couple of other questions that I do quite often get asked, just in case you're curious about it. I do get asked quite often about the garments in my title screen, those 3 garments. What are they? So the first one is the Cocoa Wawa Crafts honeycomb dress in a chambray. That's the first one. The second one is the Deer and Doe Sirocco jumpsuit made in a black ponte. That's the second one. And then the third one is the Sew House 7 Underwood tank, made in a viscose jersey, which is the spotty one. So those are the 3 garments that are in my titles. And also a lot of people ask me, do I always stand up when I'm sewing? If you've seen any of my sew alongs, you'll see that I do stand up while sewing. And yeah, I always stand up when I sew. Occasionally I might pull up my chair and put, you know, the foot pedal on a little stool or something, if I maybe got a bit of a, you know, sore back or something like that, but that doesn't happen very often, to be honest. But yes, mainly I always stand up and sew. And the table that I do sew on is a bar table that I believe came from IKEA initially, but I got it through a Facebook selling group, so I don't know initially kind of when this model kind of was in. But I do believe they have other ones, but basically it's a bar table, so that's why it's so high. And then the last question that I do quite often get is about the sewing tools that I use. Kind of, I quite often get asked, what tracing paper do I use, or, you know, things like that. If you see any of my sew alongs, in my sew alongs I'll always list links to the items from some of the tools that I use. If anything is listed, if anything's not listed there, just ask me. But if you ever are unsure, just have a look at the sew along and on the description box, and it'll all be there. They are all Amazon affiliate links, just to make you aware. So basically that means that I have bought that item already from Amazon and I like it, so I'm sharing it with you. And if you click on that link, then you don't pay any extra, but then I get a tiny little commission just because you bought it. So that, just being honest there. So if you are interested in any of the tools or anything like that that I use, I do link everything in my sew alongs. Okay, so yes, this video is going to be a long one. So I hope you all enjoyed listening to my little Q&A. And again, thank you so much for everybody for sticking with me for a full year. And yeah, I will speak to you all in my next video, which should, I think, be my December sewing plans. And then you can vote for the December sew along. So yeah, I will speak to you all in my next video. Thank you. Bye.